was a very exciting final week to the season, and we now have our wild card matchups all set. We have a couple, actually, three division games um, for the playoff for wild card weekend. We got Seahawks and 49ers. That's going to be our first game kicking off on Saturday at 3:30.
San Francisco's favored by 9.5.
Mine says 10 now, so it might have gone up.
To move.
I guess I'm not sure, but they.
I had it written down. I did this earlier today.
Okay, then it probably moved.
So yeah, it might have moved.
I could see that happening. I could see San Francisco covering that. However, it's gonna depend on Brock Purdy. It's gonna all come down to Brock Purdy because Seattle is grooving.
I think 49ers win, but I'd probably take the points with Seattle.
I think that's the smarter thing to do because it's a playoff game. I mean, like I said,
that's a big line. That's a big line.
It is a big line.
For an NFL game, that's a big line. It's not the biggest line.
Which we'll get into in a second for a pretty good reason. It's actually another one of our division games between the Bills and Dolphins, and that's a 13-point spread.
Yeah.
And
it's a big spread.
That is a big spread. But after watching them win 11-6 against the Jets.
Yeah, I'd take the Bills and count the money.
Yeah, not only are the Bills the better team, but they also have a lot that they're playing for right now, and it's just you're running into a buzzsaw over there. So
that's a Sunday game at noon.
Yeah,
we skipped
Sunday
one.
At noon. We did. So Seahawks and 49ers at 3:30, and then Saturday night we get the Jags and the Chargers, which
2-point line on that one.
Which I think is fair. I think
it's in Jacksonville.
It's damn near a coin flip, which is what they're telling us with the 2-point line. And I'm with them on that.
Essentially, Vegas, whenever it's a 2-point line like that with the road team a favorite, essentially what they're saying is that they think that the Chargers, if it was a neutral field, the Chargers would be favored by 5. So that's kind of how to read that line when the road team's a favorite.
Yeah, because the road or the home team gets 3 points regardless.
Typically,
if they think it's even. Yeah. So, man, that one's going to be actually a lot of fun. We're going to get 2 of the young stud quarterbacks in the NFL. I think what that one's going to boil down to is if the Chargers receivers can stay healthy. Because Mike Williams, even this last week, I saw him limping over to the sideline at one point, and it's like, dude, he just has such a hard time staying healthy. But Keenan Allen balled out this weekend. Gerald Everett has been a really good addition for them at tight end. Austin Eckler was a beast this week. So I mean, we already talked about the Jags quite a bit, so I don't really feel like I need to repeat what I've been saying, how I feel about them. Right. But I think it'll boil down to if the Chargers receivers can stay on the field. If so, we got a ball game, and I really don't know who's going to win. But if they can't, I think the Jags are just going to take it.
I'm rolling with the Jags.
I like it. I do.
I'm rolling with them. I don't know. I like that team. They have a good coach. Now that he's not the Eagles coach, I can say that.
No, I like them.
I don't know. I think they've got everything rolling right now. And I've always been a big Trevor Lawrence believer. And now that he's, gotten away from Urban Meyer and all of that craziness.
Right. And the Chargers are just one of those fan bases too that just feel cursed. So like
they have to have like the worst medical staff in the NFL over the last 20 years.
I mean, you saying that just reminds me of when they punctured Tyrod Taylor's lung with a needle.
It's a history of this. It's bad.
Yeah, that is bad.
I don't know.
I don't know either. That one's going to be fun though. I will say, so I actually wanted to give you my picks for these two. So I will say the first one, I think 49ers are going to take it. All boils down to Brock Purdy. I am going to go with Jacksonville as well.
All right.
But I could see that one going either way. I really could.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't put any actual money on it, but I'd go Jacksonville.
I might do a parlay for all the games this weekend to see if I
That'd
get
be fun. I'll do that with you. Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. And then the noon game on Sunday, the Dolphins and Bills. We both already talked about it. I don't see how the Bills lose this game. It
No
just,
chance.
I mean, it is any given Sunday in the NFL, so anything can happen. But that would be the craziest thing to happen this weekend if Buffalo
Yes.
loses. And then for the 3:30 game, we got the Giants and Vikings, a rematch.
Which you know is going to be a close game because that's all those teams do is play close
Yeah,
games.
which Minnesota's still
And
undefeated in one
yeah,
score games.
but this is one case where we were talking about the home team typically gets 3 points. Vikings are favored by 3 at home against the Giants. Vegas is kind of telling us these are basically the same team
Yep.
rating
And that,
wise.
well, and that it's kind of seemed like that a lot of the season. The weird part is like I like both running backs, I like both quarterbacks, but you got Justin Jefferson on one side. You ain't got nobody on the Giants.
Yeah, the Giants have a much better defense though.
They
I
do have
feel
a better
like
defense. Yeah, because the Vikings have given up quite a few points. But like I said, it is a rematch. The game was played in Minnesota, and
and it was a close
they
game.
won 27-24 by 3. So
Yep.
Vegas knows what they're doing. I will pick the same because I am still with you on the firm believer that this Giants team is not a good football team.
They're
They've
they're
just been
bad.
winning. They've been
They're
winning football games.
I still think they're a bad football team. I still think they're a bad
I don't
football
know if
team.
I can go that far because I think Daniel Jones is actually becoming better than I thought he was going to be. He's actually maybe living up to the Danny Dimes. And this is coming from a Cowboys fan. I hate it too. I
I,
told you when we started this podcast though I was going to try and be a little bit more
yeah,
outside looking in.
it's not even the Giants thing. I just don't think he's good. I just don't. Like every time I watch him, I'm just like, really? I don't see it. I just don't see it.
I mean, the Cowboys made him look bad, but I've seen him make some plays. I kind of like what he's done in
I've
some parts this season, but
I've seen him dump the ball off uh to Barkley and just let Barkley go run down the field. Like I've seen him do that. I could do
true.
that. I couldn't do that, but
Hey, 15-5 touchdown to interceptions. That's taking
yeah,
care
but
of the football.
if your quarterback's
15,
only throwing
yes.
15 touchdowns in an 18 game season, that's not good. That means you don't trust him,
Yeah,
or
that's
he
true.
doesn't trust himself. One of the
He
two.
he he is their second leading rusher though, with
Yeah.
708 yards on the season and 7 touchdowns. So he accounted for 22 touchdowns. I
Let
don't
him play
know.
tight end.
He's grow he's growing on me a little bit. I do think he's actually a little bit better than a lot of people thought. Not I don't know if he was good enough to get drafted ahead of a couple of the guys he got drafted ahead of, but
No.
he's looking good. So I do think somehow, some way, Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson win that football game. That one I think is going to be a good one too, though.
Yeah,
So
I'd have to go. After all of the crap I've talked about the Giants this year, I kind of have to take Minnesota. So
right.
I will.
Which, by the way, I actually meant to bring this up already and forgot. I guess it didn't actually. The season finally actually ended for this episode, so it works. Um, but I'm sure you remember at the very beginning of the season,
Yeah.
somebody said that they thought Minnesota was going to win the division, and
Yeah.
you were skeptical. Now I
I'm
wasn't
I'm
alone.
still skeptical.
I mean, fair enough,
I'm
but
skeptical that it actually happened. I think
honestly,
I think they might be the third best team in that division. After watching the season play out, I think they might be the third best team.
I mean, you might not be wrong. You might not be wrong. They had some really good performances, but they had some very very bad performances too.
Yeah.
So, oh, I still think that'll be a fun playoff game though.
But yeah,
And then
your 20 will be in the mail.
and then we got another division game, and that's one that I kind of already talked about. The Bengals and Ravens in Cincinnati, 8.5 point spread, and I think I would take it. I think I would take
I
Cincinnati with the
yeah.
points.
Yeah, I think I would too.
They're
It's
playing really well.
without Lamar Jackson, the Ravens can't score. They can't. And
Even with Lamar Jackson, to be honest with you, the defending AFC champions, and they started rough, but they've been on a roll to end the season. And that's what you want in the NFL. You want to be hot when it matters, and they're
yeah,
hot right now. So I think even with Lamar Jackson, now obviously I wouldn't take the points in that situation with Cincinnati if that the spread
well,
wouldn't be that
the
big.
spread
Yeah,
wouldn't be. It'd be maybe a 4-point spread,
yeah,
5
three or
maybe.
four. Yeah, but even with Lamar, I think I still would take Cincinnati. I just think that they're playing really well right now.
Yeah. The over under on that one's interesting. I don't know if you see the over under there.
No, not the what I'm
40
looking at
and
right now.
40 and a half. Feels a bit low.
That does feel a little low
It's the lowest of any of them. The highest one is actually the Giants and Vikings for some reason.
because they don't have good defense.
Yeah, but their offense is not that great either.
No, but one side's got Justin Jefferson, one side's got Saquon. So I mean, there's bound to be some touchdowns.
I guess, but I don't know.
Well,
Anyway.
I guess they're probably looking at the previous games because, like I said, that one was 27-24, so that's what 51, and then the Ravens and Bengals just played, and it was 27-16, which is 43. So they're probably just looking at what's happened so far already.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they are. I mean, Vegas knows what they're doing. It
Right.
feels low. Just feels low.
It does
to me.
kind of feel. I kind of agree though. And then
Monday night.
So I don't know if you noticed, but I kind of got away with not even talking about their last game.
Yeah, they looked
Let's
bad, but
let's just forget about it and pretend that
that's
they
fine.
didn't even play their starters. So the Cowboys, after resting everybody last week and losing, they go on the road to be a road favorite by 2.5 points currently in Tampa Bay against Tom Brady, whom they've never beaten.
Yeah.
Tom Brady is 7-0 against the Cowboys. The Cowboys have not won a road playoff game since 1993.
It's been a minute.
I mean, obviously we know how long it's been since they've been in a championship game or Super Bowl.
96.
And then I believe they are 1-4 on grass this year or something like that. No,
Okay.
that can't be this year. That has to be like within the last couple years. Regardless, we don't have a good record on grass.
Okay.
And we're going to be playing at Raymond James Stadium on grass. So there's a lot of things not looking good for the Cowboys, especially
which means they're going to win.
Which means they should win. I mean, honestly, you're not wrong. I do kind of agree with you there. The fact that it's actually, I think the Cowboys fan base and everybody around the Cowboys has finally gotten to the point where they're like, we don't give a shit that you just made the playoffs. We expect more. But after last week, they don't know if they do expect more. So I think we're at the point where it's like,
I think you throw out last week just entirely like it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Like honestly, just it didn't happen. Like,
well, yeah. I mean, we've seen that happen to multiple teams, good teams in the NFL. I mean, we saw the Colts beat the Chiefs this year.
right.
Anything
Colts
can happen.
who fired their head coach.
Right. So I mean, anything could happen in that regard. But I just don't. I don't see if the Cowboys play a good game and not like to their level that they've been able to play at this season.
Yeah,
they should be fine because they are a better team from top to bottom than the Buccaneers.
Just kind of feel like we've been waiting all year for like, okay, this is the week the Bucs are going to turn it on. This is the week the Bucs are going to turn it on, and it just never happened. It just never happened.
Now, the one thing I am a little bit nervous about is Brady likes to do a bunch of things he's never done before, and he's never had a sub 500 season. So why not have my first ever sub 500 season, win the division, and then go win the Super Bowl? Like, I could see that happening just because of what he's done over his whole career. Exactly. I mean, but like I said, if they play their game, I think the Cowboys will be fine.
I think so too.
I think they can put enough pressure on Brady. He is the quickest getting the ball out in the NFL, but we have some really fast defensive linemen. And not only that, but lately we've been liking to blitz with Donovan Wilson, and he's been getting home quite a bit. And I can see that happening quite a bit on Monday. Not necessarily sacks, but putting some pressure on him from the
Right.
safety position.
Yeah, you're not going to sack him.
No,
He
you're going
can't.
to get some hits, hopefully.
He can't allow himself to get sacked. He's 63 years old.
Exactly. But no, I did you know today's the anniversary of Des caught it?
I didn't need to hear that.
I'm sorry. I had to hear it. No, he even tweeted about it because he found like the cleats that he wore during that game and stuff and like so. But no, so
Yeah.
I personally think throw up Dex. He did catch it, by the way. That was definitely a catch.
He absolutely did. Today's rules.
Not only was it a catch, but that was a touchdown.
Yep.
So
probably better for the Cowboys if it was a catch, but not a touchdown, because then they could have ran a couple plays to run the clock down and then scored and win the game.
Right, but since it was a scoring play, it had to be reviewed, and
Well, that wasn't the rule back then. They had to challenge, but no, I'm saying it's been better for the Cowboys if it was. I think it was just outside of 2 minutes. If it had been a touchdown, Aaron Rodgers was going to drive down the field and score a touchdown to win. But we don't need to talk about that game.
Sorry, didn't mean to bring it up.
We're getting late in the pod. We need to start wrapping things up anyway. So,
well, I think the Cowboys do it. I think they do it. I think they're the better team.
I'm surprised that the line's only 2.5.
I mean, they are a road playoff team. I do kind of agree.
I know, but
there's
a pretty good gap between these teams this season.
I agree. It's just, man, it's so hard to close the door on Tom Brady.
Like, I don't think it's massively too low. I'd probably have it like around 4.
I think that would be fair. I think that's fair if Brady wasn't their quarterback. Since Brady's their quarterback, they probably got an extra point or two.
Maybe.
So, but Monday night. How do you feel about a Monday night playoff game?
Not crazy about it.
I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
Just play 3 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday. Yep. We don't need to drag this out to Monday. Whoever wins that game is going to have to turn around and go play a game less than a week later.
If the Cowboys win, they will get home at like 3:30 in the morning on Tuesday.
Yep.
And then have to already start preparing for
a game
possibly
on Sunday.
Even a Saturday. I doubt that the NFL would do that.
No, it'll be a Sunday game. Whichever team wins this game, it'll be a Sunday game for sure.